Dustin, so good to see you. We are myth busting today. We have the 4 biggest financial myths and the truth behind them. Some of the most common beliefs about money, retirement, and investing are simply myths, and believing them can really hurt your financial future. So here are the top 4. Myth number 1, the market always goes up. How do you help clients stay realistic about market cycles while staying invested for the long run?
I would say this, given a long enough time horizon, that's historically true. But it's really important if you need to spend the money or if you don't, how long can you wait to spend the money, right?
Yeah.
So even though markets tend to go up historically over time, there have been sustained periods of downturns. And that's very important to be conscious of as you approach retirement, because in the years prior to retirement and the early years of your retirement, if you need to spend those assets and you're making withdrawals and we encounter a deep drawdown, that can compound those losses and it can be
Right.
catastrophic to your retirement. So
Mhm.
it's one of the reasons why, especially as a client approaches retirement, they near retirement, we consider adding some risk managed strategies to the portfolio that don't have a direct correlation to the broader markets. Things like hedged equity to protect against those deep drawdowns, things like buffered ETFs, which give our clients a defined outcome, things like structured notes, which give our clients contractual terms. Those are all ways where we might remove some volatility from the portfolio and make it a lot easier for an investor to stay invested through the ups and downs for the long term.
Mhm. All right. Myth number 2, the 4% withdrawal rule for retirement. Is that rule still reliable?
I would say that generally speaking, not a bad rule. Generally speaking, it's much more reliable than it was a couple of years ago before they raised interest rates substantially. But keep in mind, there's no one set rule for any retiree, any investor. And even if we're planning on a certain withdrawal rate, we need to look at that plan, let's say on an annual basis, see if we're underperforming the plan or overperforming the plan. And we may want to adjust that withdrawal rate either to make that client's retirement more sustainable or to increase their spending so that they can enjoy that retirement a little bit
Mhm.
more.
Mhm. We all love when there's one rule that works for everyone. It makes our lives easier, but that's
Right.
just not how it works with retirement money. All right. Myth number 3, my taxes will be lower in retirement. Why might retirees be paying more in taxes than they were expecting?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is right now, tax rates are historically low and deficits are historically high.
Yeah.
So even though we've got tax rates that are set to sunset at the end of 2025, even if those tax rates are extended as we anticipate they might be, we believe that pressure to increase future tax rates is still going to remain. But Aaron, I think a lot of this idea that we're going to retire to a lower tax bracket, a lower tax liability, it really comes from the late 70s and the
Yeah.
80s. In 1978, the 401k was born and they wanted to encourage participation. If you think about, today our top marginal tax rate is 37%. It was about double that in the late 70s and the 80s. So if you were a highly compensated executive, for example, and they told you that, hey, you should defer your income, defer your taxes, because when you retire, you'll pay those taxes at a lower rate, there was probably a lot of truth to that. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's true in every circumstance, and it certainly doesn't necessarily mean that it's true today.
Mhm. Okay. And our last myth, Dustin, I don't need life insurance once I retire. Why would someone need life insurance in retirement?
There may be many reasons. Estate planning is one of them. Uh, um, uh, Life insurance can be the most cost-effective way to transfer an estate. That's especially true if somebody is facing estate taxes.
Mhm.
But beyond that, I'll give you one reason. If you are a married retiree, let's talk about something called the widow tax or the widower's tax. If you have a spouse that predeceases you in retirement, two things are going to happen. Your income is going to go down. It's going to go down because you're going to go from 2 Social Security benefits down to 1. And you're going to move from the married tax tables to the much less friendly single tax tables. So your income will go down and your taxes may go up. And life insurance carried into retirement, permanent life insurance, is the perfect solution to that problem.
Mhm. Dustin, it's fun to talk through these myths with you because it makes it apparent to me you live in this world. So it's fun to talk through all these misconceptions we have. If somebody would like to talk through more about creating a financial plan that accounts for these myths and all these risks that we mentioned, what's the best way to reach you?
They can give me a call or a text at 830-476-2505 or reach out on the website to book a free chat at longlivemymoney.com.
Great. Dustin, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.